Hello and welcome. This is Honeysuckle bringing you the player update for episode 2 of the Minecraft Hardcore Challenge for July 2017. I do ask that you forgive me for my voice. It is very early in the morning. I haven't even had a full cup of coffee yet, but we are going to go ahead and get this done so I can get it out for everyone. Just jumping right in the updates, we're going to start with mine just to get that out of the way. Very simply, I just gathered some resources, some sand and wood, went back over to my cave, back down to the mines, mined for a few more resources, and put stairs down as I came back up. Next, we have John Fowl 92. He picked up down in the cave, gathering materials to use in his build. He got ambushed by some zombies and had to beat a hasty retreat to regroup before healing back up and showing them who's boss. He found a single diamond hiding under some water, which he chose to turn into a shovel. He continued dealing with several zombies. He also demonstrated why you shouldn't dig out the block you're standing on when he goes after more iron and falls into lava. And I have to admit to getting the giggles at his reaction. So check out his video to see what happened there. Next we have Dragon Feathers. She hopped in her boat to find the exact build coordinates, then started flattening the top of the mountain, collecting snow as she worked on the way down. She finished a nice area to start her build, then started squaring it off with slabs until a skeleton started shooting at her. Now, I'm not sure if an arrow knocked her off the platform or if she tried to jump into the water to get away, but either way, she landed on the rocks at the bottom instead of the water and took enough fall damage to finish her off. Bad luck, but we do hope to see you back next month. Next, we have Dark Age Man. He headed back to the forest to gather more wood. He gets a visit from one of his fans, a little too aggressively. Then he cuts down a lot of trees while talking about how to light his lighthouse. As night fell, he headed back to his cliff base and took a quick inventory check before heading on down into his mines, finding more iron and coal on his way down. He ran across a lava pool before heading back up to check the time and start smelting his iron. Next, G Mania. He picked up where he left off on the treetops and headed down to take care of a few lingering zombies and a creeper before picking up a few more bits of wood and mushrooms before heading over to check out the destruction from the forest fire. Not finding anything of use or interest, he boated back over to the build site, where he decides he will probably flatten the top to accommodate his build. He heads down, plants some dark oak saplings, and digs into the cliff to make a small base. Then he made some ladders and started a 2x1 mine shaft straight down, one of my favorite ways to do it as well. He stopped at level 13 to end his episode. Next, we've got Granny's Got Game. She started out still collecting granite and diorite, some andesite from the cliffside, then swam over to get more wood as night fell, then back to the cliffside to hole up for some inventory management. Then she hopped in a boat to find the build coordinates and plan out where to build her lighthouse and the caretaker's house. Next, we have Rabbit Roars. She went down her mine shaft for more resources, came across a cave, and went around the corner to find diamonds. Yay! But without the iron tools she needed, she had to run back up to smelt some iron to make a pick. After getting her diamonds, she packs up and heads over to the build site, where she digs in for the night and heads underground. Next, we have Greg C96. He headed up to smelt his iron to make a pick to get those diamonds and other resources he found, but failed at the Floor is Lava challenge. Oops. Better luck next month, Greg. Next, we have Emma Karn. He headed over to the cliffs to get some coal and had a creeper explode from out of nowhere, but luckily didn't take any damage. He went back to flattening out his little island. As night fell, he boated around looking for sand, and as he came back around to his little island, he saw an Enderman throwing fits in the rain. He kept working on the island through the night, making it a little bigger and adding a little dock. Next, we have Dadcraft 73. He started gathering wood with a surprise visit from a flaming zombie. After getting a couple of trees, he headed underground for more resources using the 2x1 ladder down method, but fell into a cave system where a skeleton forced him to retreat quickly into a corner. After regrouping, he headed back out to locate his mine shaft and start exploring the cave for iron and coal before heading back up to greet the new day to end the episode. Next is Wandering Nerd. He headed back down to get some trees and gathered some seeds and mushrooms, then headed back to his cliff base to go back down underground for the night. Unlike Greg, he actually managed to pass the Floor is Lava challenge when he stopped himself from jumping after coal into newly exposed lava. He then used the lava pool he found to create another portal to end the episode, so he'll probably be visiting the Nether in his episode 3. Next, we have Block Samurai. She started out her episode gathering seeds and getting them planted before cutting down some more trees and exploring the surrounding area a bit. As night fell, she headed back underground looking for iron and other goodies. Next is Captain Hook 5150. He started shoveling snow to turn into blocks for his lighthouse builds. He starts building a platform on the peak centered around our build coordinates, leaving space underneath for a tiny hidey hole with a stairway up to the platform. He starts building up the base walls for his lighthouse to get a feel for the shape and the height. Next, we have Bad Senator. He starts his episode in the hidey hole underwater that he made to escape the skeletons at the end of his first episode, and starts digging a staircase up through the rock to get back above ground. Back on top of the mountain, he built a small platform and a wooden staircase leading down the hill. As night is almost over, he has a run-in with a creeper who destroys part of his staircase, and while attempting to repair that, another creeper sneaks up on him and blows him up. Challenge is over for this month, but we hope you'll be back next month for a new challenge. Next, we have Java Dad. He made some ladders to get up to the top of the mountain. What a great way to conserve energy on his travels up and down. Then he explored the area, collecting a few resources for his build before hopping in his boat to look for sheep. He collects more dark oak until night fell and headed back to his base. He then spent the night gathering resources in his mine and figuring out the pros and cons of a concrete lighthouse versus one made of wool. Then as morning came, he did a little gardening to finish out the episode. Next is Baker Bell Games. She went back up to the mountain to keep working on flattening the area for her build during the day, then heading back to her cliffside base for the night to keep mining for resources, talking about the materials she wants to use in her build. She runs across a nice cave system and explores it for iron and other goodies. And she finds diamonds when she gets back to her branch mine. Good job. Then she headed up to smelt her iron and end the episode. Next is Grandma's Gone Gaming. She heads back to the roofed forest for some more mushrooms and seeds to secure a good food supply before running across a cave that she was going to avoid, but the exposed iron was too much of a temptation to pass up. So she keeps going a little bit deeper into the cave after more and more goodies, but manages to pull herself away before going too far. And she goes back to her boat, collecting a few more resources on the way. Back at the build site, she started flattening the top a bit and planning out where to plant her trees and garden while fending off several zombies and creepers. Next we have DataOne. He started a bit late, but his first episode and second episode he posted at once to get all caught up. He has a very nice cinematic intro. He starts off by heading west along the shore and finds the roofed forest where he gathers mushrooms and wood. Then he headed down into a cave to gather iron and coal, setting up a small base area down there to go ahead and smelt the iron. He continues gathering resources through the night. In his episode 2, he picks up still down in the cave, but headed back up to get water and headed back down to explore more of the cave, gather more resources, before planting a little garden down there and continuing to explore the cave. Now, he did have a run-in with a witch that knocked him down to about half a heart, but he did manage to heal back up. Then he went to make more mushroom stew to replenish his supply and start a small mushroom farm before going back down in the cave. Next, we have TSTGaming. He moved his dark oak saplings to give them more room to grow, then started laying out an area for his lighthouse. He kept working around the area for a while, then as night fell, he hopped in a boat and headed back over to the root forest to get some seeds and an oak sapling, then headed back to his base where several zombies were waiting to greet him. Then he planted a single seed before heading up to start laying out the walls of his lighthouse. Get a sip of coffee here before we start on the next one. Okay, now we have Outfoxed. He did get started a little late, but like DataOne, he posted 2 episodes to get caught up. In his episode 1, he did look around a bit before heading to the root forest to get wood, and made a boat to check out the build coordinates and look around the island. He confirmed it had no trees or other life, so he headed back to the forest for resources. He made a little base, planted a garden, then headed down, digging a little mine shaft, and ran across iron and coal pretty quickly. He kept digging until morning to end the episode. In the second episode, he does go back above ground briefly to check his surroundings before heading back down after resources, finding redstones and diamonds fairly quickly. Then he tried the floor is lava challenge, and like Greg, he failed. So that's the end of his series this month. We do hope to see you back next month, though, Outfoxed. Keep it up. So there ends the updates for episode 2. We had 2 new players, or rather, repeat players, joining in late. We have 4 deaths, so our total participants should be around 18, unless I've missed someone. Still waiting on episode 2 from Icy Bubba and DJ Paul as of this recording. I have heard from Icy Bubba, and he will be posting a double episode this weekend to get caught back up there. Of the ones we have left playing, we do have 5 players who have begun working at the build site, with 2 of them already laying out the walls. I am looking forward to seeing how everyone completes the challenge this month. And there ends this update, so we will see you next time. Bye!